Alright guys, welcome back to the final episode of the first season of Crossing Swords.
It is the finale, the big one.
As always, I'm Andrew.
And as sometimes, I'm Jake. And I have been Jake for some of the series.
Not all of it.
Not all of it.
Sometimes you've been Zafar, the sexually frustrated dolphin.
Most of the time I've just been a pain in the arse.
Absolutely. But that's going to change from in or out of the podcast.
I like to be consistent.
So in this episode, as we've spoken to some of our listeners, we are planning on taking maybe a 2 to 3 week break.
We're going to take a little sabbatical. We're going to go away, regroup, hopefully upgrade some of the tech, which we'll talk you through a little bit. We will touch upon the technology that we've been using. We want to upgrade it.
Look at what we can improve on.
Which is where you guys come in really handy. If you have any suggestions, seriously, because we are committed to doing this as best we can.
Yeah.
So any ideas you have, and like we've had one suggestion, we've had 2 so far. One that we should do more topics where we disagree, so we can perhaps clash a little more. Also to do a segment every now and then at the end where we answer questions, give opinions based on things that you guys have suggested. But for that, obviously, we need you guys to suggest things.
Yeah.
But anything else that you guys can think of, please do. Either email us crossingswords19, that's 19, not the word, at well, there goes my fucking plug. I've completely forgotten the email address. Is it .com or .co.uk?
.com.
So it's at hotmail.com.
No, it's not Hotmail.
It's at Outlook.
No,
Gmail.
Shut up
It's
for a
Gmail.
second. It is crossingswords19@gmail.com. We are also on Twitter at Swords Crossing. We're on Facebook, Crossing Swords, and we also have an Instagram account.
Yes, crossingswords_podcast, and hit us up on absolutely any of those platforms. DM us, baby. Slide into our DMs.
Absolutely.
Tell us what we can do to improve it. Because seriously, we're committed to it, and the way to do that is from you guys.
We just want to make clear that when we say hiatus, we aren't stopping doing the podcast. One of our listeners said to me that stick with it, even if it takes 2 or 3 years. Eventually, you'll get an audience, and I sort of agree with him, to be fair. But at the start of this, when we talked about doing it, I said, to be honest with you, even if we only had one listener that enjoyed it, that's alright for me, to be honest. But we have had some really good feedback over the time, and I've really enjoyed the process.
Me too.
For all sorts of reasons, it was something that took me out of my comfort zone.
Absolutely.
Putting something out there for others to listen to.
Everything I've ever done artistically, and this is a sort of artistic process, has always been for me. I've written loads of stuff from varying forms of media.
Yeah.
They've only ever been for me, and so this was a huge thing to put yourself out.
I mean, I dabbled slightly in writing and putting that out there. Like, for example, I wrote some sex stories on the internet and put them out there, which actually got some good
feedback.
I think one of them I actually got over 10,000 people had read it, and 98% or 90% positive feedback, something along those lines. So that was quite good. But in terms of, and this feels far more intimate, pardon the pun, despite the fact I wrote sex stories, because we're talking into your ear. I know that sounds a little bit weird, but
it's not going to get any better for you.
You're sitting down and you're listening to us.
Or maybe you're not, maybe you're working, maybe you're standing up.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
We're not going to tell you what to do.
It's free, man. I mean, our whole vision for this was that we wanted it to sort of feel like
you could be in the conversation with us.
Yeah, and
but not able to actively take part.
No, but like as if we were all sat in a coffee shop or a pub just having a chat, and I think that's why we've really tried to vary the topics, because when you're with your friends, you will range from football to current events to personal stories to things you're worried about sometimes if you have a close relationship, all sorts of things.
Yeah, the only topic we've really revisited, because we try not to revisit too much, the only topic we really revisited is politics, because it's a big deal, it's ever changing, and it's topical, it's really relevant.
Yeah, and I think it's a situation that not a lot of people understand what's going on.
And it matters more than football. Football changes every week, but it doesn't matter as much.
But I think what I found enjoyable about doing it is it's forced me to look into things that perhaps I wouldn't have looked into, or certainly not into with as much in depth as I have.
No, and also, you know, because I account for potentially 1/3 of the audience, I do listen to it. As you'll know, if you noticed that I listened to the pod whereby I promised in the next pod I would rap, and in the next pod I delivered. Like a person with Tourette's, I fucking delivered, son. But my favourite, looking back, my favourite times for us has been when we've got completely sidetracked.
Oh, absolutely.
And just talked shit. Like in a previous episode that we recorded not too long ago, I vaguely recall you. I mean, we were doing it's an Agony Aunt episode. Check out the Agony Aunt episode for this. And we were talking about, there was something like someone had an affair or something.
Yeah.
And basically we got sidetracked into like, you were convinced that you'd avoid prison, I was convinced you'd go to prison, and the extent at which we'd fuck up this guy who's been having an affair with our fictional wives.
Yeah.
It kind of went off.
Yeah.
Also during an episode where we talked about sort of more bizarre and quirky news stories, and we ended up coming up with our own thing where we're going to raid the Loch Ness.
Yeah. Hashtag free Nessie.
But also when we were, just talking about how we were going to smuggle these burbs that we were smuggled. Not to give the story away. If you're really interested, go back and listen to it. It's well worth a listen. If I do say so myself, I am biased. But yeah, and we sort of like got caught off in how would you smuggle it and how would you attract smugglers, and we really put ourselves in the positions of each of the smuggling kingpin ring during that operation. Yeah. Those have been my favourites, personally.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with those, to be fair. I think the mental health one was quite therapeutic.
It was really
raw.
Scary for me.
I would also say the one we did not too long ago, the interview with a podcaster episode,
where
we interviewed with each other. I thought that was quite honest and quite fun to do. I find the ones where we're quite really honest and very open about ourselves, very challenging, very enjoyable.
The mental health one was one of the toughest things that I've done. I know that sounds dramatic, but I don't, as I mentioned in the episode, I'm getting better at it, but I don't really talk about myself. I don't like it, I don't feel comfortable with it. So to sit there and do that, knowing, and I wasn't even thinking at the time that it was going to be played out to people and that people I know would listen to it and get this perspective on me that perhaps they hadn't had before, but it was really, really, and also the aftermath of that.
Cathartic.
People I had who didn't know these things, because why would they, because I don't speak about myself really, suddenly were coming up and sort of like saying, and almost wanting to talk about it, and that made me feel really uncomfortable, because I was like, as if I don't fucking tell anyone anything. But it was a good thing, I guess, because it kind of, I actually had a really close heart-to-heart with a couple of people where they did express a certain amount of concern that they had for me at one point, and it was never spoken about, we never talked about it.
No.
But the pod kind of like forced it out there and forced that conversation, which is sort of the intended purpose of that episode, was to force. But it was weird when we started it, not to be like a bit of a dick, but it was almost like to force other people to have those conversations. I never expected it to force me to have those conversations.
Yeah, and I mean, when I've listened to back to episodes and I've heard some of the stuff I've opened up about, you do sit there and go, oh, I wonder what people thought about that, because it's really a weird experience doing this, because
you don't get direct feedback.
Well, not just that, but then like afterwards, I completely forget, and then when I listen back to the episode, I'm like, oh fuck, I said that.
Yeah,
like,
no, absolutely.
And I've like been in the car with my sister and my mum and listened to a couple of episodes, because we've gone on a couple of road trips recently.
Do you listen to it to yourself, or do you put it on for everyone?
I listen to it to myself usually, but like on that trip I put it on the player, because I had Bluetooth, so I connected with my phone. And like the mental health one, my mum afterwards was sort of like, I never knew some of that. And then one with my sister, she was quite surprised with some of the stuff that was said, and it's an ever-changing experience really, because we have some episodes like the funny news stories one where we're just laughing pretty much from start to finish, and then we have the ones where we open up and it's difficult but fun at the same time, but you enjoy it the same amount. I think.
Obviously, it's hard to be completely impartial because we're not. We're in the middle of it.
Yeah.
But I like to think we've got a pretty good balance between fun and serious, because I don't think you can be too one way or the other for us, because the pod is a representation of us and who we are, and that's not who we are. We're able to do the serious stuff and delve into it, but also
have a laugh.
We're just be stupid idiots and
I did get
which fucking male celebrities we fuck, which has come up way too often across the course of this series. Way too many.
Sorry. But no, I had feedback from one listener who said he doesn't enjoy the silly episodes as much, whereas I sort of feel like sometimes they're at our best moments.
Yeah.
But like, because we just sort of riff with each other and bounce off each other, and it's difficult to do that with more serious subjects.
It's the thing as well,
but also, he did say that he appreciated that's just his personal viewpoint, and that he can understand that there's probably other people that love those episodes.
Well, but it's the thing, when we started out, and let's perhaps do that, let's take it back. But when we started out, we were like, we're doing this for us.
Yeah.
With very much the expectation that no one was going to. So I think we both had the same, and correct me if I'm wrong, we both had the same idea where we thought the first episode would probably get, and the first episode, ironically, is a real almost sore spot for me, because it's actually our worst episode, and yet because people start chronologically, it's the one everyone starts with, and you kind of put off because there's no structure to it, there's no all the criticisms that we were aware of anyway. We just sort of did it to see whether it worked, see whether the podcasting was for us, and we sort of were like, right, okay, let's restructure it and do it properly, kind of thing. But I've completely forgotten the point. I don't know, when we started, we thought the first episode would get maybe like 15-20 plays from people, friends, family, then it would be a courtesy play out of support, but they'd never commit to it. But to have a relatively steady number of people, even though it is a low number, I appreciate that it is a low number. To have a relatively number of people who have actually committed to it has been a shock. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and admittedly they're people we know, but I've actually know a couple of our friends that they look forward to it on a Monday morning when they go to work. They enjoy listening to it, and just that for me is brilliant. And it's the little victories, like when we saw someone had listened to it in America and someone had listened to it in Finland. I don't care that they only listened to it once. It was the fact somehow it got to someone.
No, absolutely. Absolutely, and every now and then it will pop up with somewhere across the country. Like, I don't know how that's come from. I don't know where that's come from, but it means it's spreading, even if it's not sticking. It's spreading, because that's the biggest fear I had, and we both had this fear. We both very arrogantly thought. Well, I very arrogantly thought, we've established through this series that I'm an arrogant person. That we thought the content would come. We thought our abilities as broadcasters, perhaps not the right word, but as podcasters, would come. We'd find our feet, and I think
I'd like to think we have.
We're still improving, but I think we've got good footing.
Some of the feedback I got was that compared to the start of it, we've definitely found a balance between us, and we have a good rapport. Well, there's a good dynamic. We both have, and I know they say we don't disagree enough, but I also think we don't constantly agree at the same time. I also think in a world where everyone's disagreeing at the moment, I think a little bit of actually getting along isn't necessarily a bad thing.
No, I think that's probably... But I'm happy to find some stuff to disagree with you on. But I think, we've definitely grown. But I think that the worry was that we both thought that the content will come, us as players will come, but the real thing that we had no idea how to get, and we still don't know how to get is listeners. Yeah. So at the end of every episode, when we beg you guys to spread it and share it, that's because, to be honest, at the moment, that's the only way, or that's one of the very few ways that we know to spread
without throwing money at advertising.
It's one of the few ways that we can think of to try and get the message about, and it relies heavily on you guys. It puts an unfair burden on you, because look, it's like when you introduce a new band to someone, you're really introducing a bit of yourself to someone by saying, I like this, and they, you're expecting them to, it feels like they're going to judge you based on, they're going to be like, this band's shit, you have shit taste, and it's like, I appreciate that, but that is why we beg so much, because it is just the toughest thing, is how the fuck you get people to listen to it.
And the thing is, like, say you have 200 friends on Facebook. Now, obviously, there'll be with our
well,
friends.
Well, you have 200 friends, Mr. Fucking Big Shot.
Well, I
Mr.
think,
Fucking Popular.
I don't think that's uncommon.
I don't think I have that many.
Alright, well, so say you've got between 100 to 200.
I am so lonely.
If you just share one of our posts or one of our links, if only one person out of that 200
it's that same thing.
accepts it.
If 10 people share it,
yeah,
and out of those one person picks it up, we've immediately grown to 100.
Yeah.
Or not quite 100, but yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's poor maths, but it's basic maths.
Yeah. So that's just sort of what we're relying on at the moment. We have considered doing advertisement, Facebook.
It's definitely it's in consideration. We're not just looking at ways to, like I said, we're really committed to this podcast. And so there's a few areas that during this hiatus we're looking at improving. So one is the actual sound quality. It's getting better equipment.
Yeah.
And a setup where we appreciate that there's a bit of background noise, there's a bit of echo, the sound balancing isn't always on point.
Yeah.
And we're looking at trying to get that improved. We're looking at the content, the actual schedule, structuring of the episodes. Again, from feedback from you guys, we're using that to kind of improve the content and the actual episodes themselves. But also, it's about improving our visibility. It's about looking at ways that we can actually improve the listeners.
And to be fair, if
anyone knows anything, for God's sake, share it with us.
I mean, out of fairness, if you look at some of the more popular podcasts out there, or the majority of podcasts out there really, in terms of the really successful ones, they've been started by someone who's famous or knows lots of famous people.
Yeah.
Or have done that are famous. I mean, one of my favourite ones I listen to is Jack Mate, who is famous from YouTube. He has like over 2 million subscribers. So instantly, he has an audience for his podcast of 2 million. Obviously, not all those 2 million people will
listen to it.
Exactly. And True Geordie, again, big YouTuber, translated into a podcast. If you look at John Bishop, he had a podcast a little while ago. David Tennant, big actor. I could go on and on in terms of these celebrities that have started podcasts. James Acaster's got one. Whereas we're coming at it from having nothing and no
famous.
one.
Why aren't any of you famous is our point? What the fuck are you lot doing?
I mean, I only technically know one famous person. I wouldn't even say I technically know them. I went to school with them. He's a famous YouTuber now.
Oh yeah, no.
But I don't know him at the same time. So
no, and I went to school with a couple of people who have gone on to be relatively successful in the media industry. But yeah, I don't know them. Yeah. I wouldn't feel comfortable calling up and being like, "What's up?" Do you remember we used to kind of like sometimes hang like we had some similar friends and like. I like the one guy I'm thinking of. Like I like the guy. I think I always thought he was really cool.
But it's not someone you'd go to and ask for a favour.
I'd never feel comfortable just going up and being like, "You're right, mate. Do you want to like
plug my podcast,
collaborate or something?" It'd be a bit weird to collaborate. He does sort of like grime production, but it'd be interesting.
I'd cover grime.
Oh man, I like the genre. So I'd be well up.
I'm not well versed in the genre. I know of a few songs from Stormzy. That's as far as it goes for me. But yeah, no. What we need more and more is feedback. Your support in terms of your sharing. And the thing is, people have asked why we didn't upgrade our equipment sooner. The truth is, more than anything, me and Jake didn't know how committed we'd be to this, and we wanted to wait and see whether we were enjoying it enough to keep investing our time in it, let alone
our money.
And we were investing a monthly amount into doing this anyway, because you have to pay for a podcast hosting website and all those sorts of things. But now we've decided actually we do want to upgrade our equipment, we do want to improve.
We want to take this level. And it's an investment that we upgrade our tech now, and the likelihood is that we won't have to upgrade our tech again for a very long time.
No, because the thing is, I've seen again people try and start something not similar but along these sort of lines where they invested heavily in it from the get-go.
And it fails.
And because it didn't take off as quickly as they wanted, they've abandoned it. And that's not how I wanted it to go with this. I wanted to make sure this was something fundamentally we're enjoying, because if we're not enjoying it, you're not going to enjoy it. We've got a steady stream of listeners. Like Jake said, a low number. I think we've got around, on average, anywhere between 15 to 22 listeners an episode. So, and we've got that with poor quality in reality in terms of sound. So I'd like to think if we can improve the quality and then maybe look at advertising and things like that, if we gain new listeners, we'll keep those listeners because of the quality of content, sound and that sort of thing. But very much me and Jake have had to make sure it's something we're willing and able to be committed to.
Yeah, I'm happy to take a minute now, just for anyone who is curious about starting a pod or whatever. I think this is a great setup for starting a pod, for kind of giving it a go. So we've talked about this for a long time, like I said. And part of the thing is we didn't have, like, a lot of people say, you need to commit to a specific thing, a niche. You need to be talking about a very specific thing. But I think our thing was, no, do you know what? We want to stay true to us. And the fact is, we want you guys or whatever to commit to us.
Yeah.
We want us to be the attraction. I know that sounds arrogant, even by my own standards.
Yeah.
But it was about us, and it was about we could talk about, and we don't want to be boxed in by talking about one thing or two.
No, and the thing is, you become very limited by it otherwise, and it's been enjoyable talking about anything and everything.
That's the thing. It's enjoyable. It's more enjoyable for us to be able to come in and say, today we're going to talk about this.
Yeah.
This week we're going to talk about this.
Yeah.
We're going to be, we're going to have this really therapeutic session. We're going to have this really whatever. But anyway, so we started talking about this a while ago, and a couple of years ago, about a year ago or so, maybe for Christmas, I asked for.
I would actually say it was 2 to 3 Christmases ago you got it.
No, I think it was 2.
Okay.
But I got this podcast sort of set. So it's
by Behringer.
By Behringer, and it comes as a set. It's about £70 or so.
Yeah.
Well worth the investment. What you get with it, and we don't use all the equipment.
No.
But you get a small mixer, which means we can could sort of control the sound a little bit. It means we get a better quality of sound.
Yeah.
I know that sounds weird saying that with the sound.
But it could be even worse.
It could absolutely be worse. But you get a mic. It's an XLR mic that connects straight into the
computer.
Into the mixer. Then from the mixer, again, this is all part of the kit. You get a little device that you can put the mono outputs into the mixer, and it goes straight and it feeds into a USB. It sort of converts it into a USB, so you can plug it into your PC or laptop and use that to record. So that's what we do, and to be honest, we've played around with a few different recording things, but actually the one we currently use is just a box standard Windows voice recorder.
Yeah.
We actually found that to be the easiest to use. It's the most compatible, and the sound quality doesn't vary enough.
No, for it to make a difference.
For it to make a difference. So ultimately,
and then we use Audacity to do the
we
editing.
edit in Audacity. The theme tune we used Fruity Loops, but that doesn't really matter too much because you come up with your own theme tune.
Which you and your brother developed.
Yeah. The theme tune, not Fruity Loops.
No, but also I have had a couple of people say they're not the biggest fans of our theme tune, so maybe that's something we can look at.
No, for sure. We can.
So if anyone has any ideas or agrees that we should change it, let us know.
But then from there, once we've got an episode, we have a subscription to a website or a company called Buzzsprout.
Yeah, that hosts podcasts.
Now Buzzsprout, the fee, obviously bear in mind we split the fee.
Yes.
It's about £8 or £9 a month.
Yes.
Each.
We get screwed on the conversion rate.
Yeah.
Because it's in dollars.
It's in dollars. But we do get, but it's about £8 or £9 a month each.
Yeah.
And for that we get 6 hours of uploads a month. So we can record 6 hours, we can do it 6 1-hour episodes, or we can do 12 half-hour episodes.
Yeah.
That's entirely up to us.
I mean, we were going to just have 4 hours a month, but we found we were starting to head towards the hour mark with episodes and decided...
We just wanted that freedom to know that if
yeah,
it's
so we're not worried about...
over.
Yeah.
But what they do is they host it, and as long as you're paying the fees, they will host it indefinitely. The second you stop paying your fees, they remove it. You can't find it anywhere. But
That's
they will
not true.
host it. Is it not?
No, if we were to end our subscription with Buzzsprout today, our podcast would remain hosted forever, as long as their company is going.
Oh, interesting, because I read differently.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
doesn't matter because we're not ending our subscription.
No.
But that's what we used, and what they do is they actually, as long as it's in the right format, which you'll be able to tell me because Vic uploads it.
I do it in WAV, the format WAV. What I have to do, the file comes in from Windows as a different file, can't remember the name, but to put it in Audacity it has to be WAV. No, it has to be WAV to
I mean from Windows does it not come in WMV?
Possibly.
Yeah.
So I then do it in a free online audio converter to convert it to WAV, then put it into Audacity, slap the theme tune onto it at the start and end, and then pop it on Buzzsprout. But I export it from Audacity as WAV as well.
But Buzzsprout then automatically upload an episode to iTunes, to Spotify,
and
Castbox.
Yeah.
And that's brilliant because you don't have to do anything. The first episode does take a while. It takes a few days to get onto
on
iTunes.
iTunes it does, because iTunes take a minimum of a week to, like Jake says, actually sit down and listen to your podcast.
Basically, the whole thing it revolves around is, have you marked as explicit? Now, we did because we were like, the chances are we're going to swear. Yeah. So let's just get it out of the way early doors and say it's explicit content.
So now, whenever we upload an episode, because it's been approved, it goes up instantly.
I mean, it does go up instantly, but the first one did take a while.
Yeah.
But we also upload it. We also then using the file. We've got the file. We then put it on YouTube as well.
Yes, which I hadn't done for the last couple of episodes because I've been having technical issues. But once we're back from our hiatus, hopefully all of that will be resolved and we'll be back to full fitness.
That's the kind of technical aspect of what we're doing and how we're doing it. You do get a few other bits in that kit, but we don't really.
And all the software we use, bar Buzzsprout, is free.
Yeah.
We don't pay for
Audacity,
any of it.
You can get that free, completely free, as like a completely legal download. You don't need to pirate it.
No, it's completely legal off their own website.
Windows thing, so
and I tried.
You could use the same if you've got a Mac. You could use that.
And actually, I tried about 5 different audio programs that were free, and all of them, when you go to finish your first audio file, ask you to subscribe.
Yeah.
Audacity is the only one that I've been using it for. What must be coming up on 6 months now, and it's not once asked me to buy a full version or anything like that. So
it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty decent, and it took a bit of playing with to get used to, and I'm still not 100% with it, but I can do what we need to do on it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I have to say that one of the things that I say about it, and is a tough part of doing the podcast, is there are some weeks when I genuinely don't feel up to it.
Yeah.
And we sort of, from my point of view, and I'm sure you've had some weeks where you're the same, you really force yourself into it.
Yeah.
But once you're there,
we love it.
It kind of is fine.
Yeah.
But there are absolutely times, and look, there are times we did an episode once where, I mean, you're a star for being able to do it sometimes, and I have no idea how you do it, but where we did it after I'd been at work all day, and it had been a particularly taxing day, but I was so tired. I mean, I usually come home and nap, to be completely honest with you, but my mind wasn't working, so even when we were trying to come up with ideas, and we had a few ideas, we've always got a few ideas ready to go, we were like, well, which one should we do? And my mind honestly, it wasn't working. That's the only way to describe it. It was off. It was blank. Yeah. Nothing was coming up for any of the ideas that we had. And so we picked one that was a bit easier and that we could just react to rather than putting any
I think that must have been the Battle of the Artists episode.
It may well have been, but it was one of those where it was like, we need to do something where I can react. I can't be pushing any forth. I can't be making the work kind of thing.
Yeah.
And those episodes, I think, they might show that perhaps it was less effort on my part in particular.
Mm.
But
thing is, it's hard though. I mean, there's some Sundays when we record where I would have worked 8 to 10 hours on the Saturday, had 4 or 5 hours sleep, worked another 10 hours on the Sunday, and then come round to Jake's to record the podcast.
Yeah, and it is tough. But persisting is a big key. It's a big part.
Oh, absolutely. But
you
also
have to keep going.
It gives us a bit, not sound too dramatic, a bit of a purpose sometimes. Gives us something to aim for.
Yeah, and sometimes we've had moments during this series where inspirations hits in the week. We've come up with an idea.
Yeah.
Said, look, this week I really want to do this, and then run with it. And then for the whole week, I'm coming up with things, not like constantly, but coming up with things that I want to talk about and mention.
I mean, I've always got a notepad on the go now. I always have one on me, whether it's in my bag or whatever.
Yeah, my phone is full. My notes on my phone.
I even bought myself an iPad Mini, so whenever I'm about, I have something I can tap notes in. I'm showing Jake at the moment my tiny little notebook that I've been carrying around, that I jot things down in as and when they pop in.
It's beautiful. It is absolutely magnificent. Not unlike his penis.
Tiny, I thought that was
tiny but packed full of power.
Wow. That's what we talk about you, isn't it? Tiny and packed full of power.
And no one says I'm packed full of power.
No, that's true.
Nobody has ever said
no.
Apart from my dating profile. I've referenced my dating profile a few times throughout the series, and just to be clear, I don't have a dating profile.
You used to.
I used to, but I don't have a dating profile. You cannot find me anywhere.
Well, so I realised I've been with my partner over 2 years now, and I still don't think I've actually deleted my Tinder or my Plenty of Fish account. I hid them, and I hid the Plenty of Fish one, but I think I've actually deleted
you're right.
it.
I probably do still have an account. What I did, it makes me sound like a technophobe grandpa. I deleted the app.
So you're still on there, so you might.
I probably am still on
you
there.
might be inundated with
check
messages. You might have become a local celebrity.
All of our listeners are, I think, the majority have got to be my type of woman. They've got to be, right? Surely. Statistically, there's going to be some in there.
Who knows?
I should check it out. I won't, but I should. But yeah, so maybe I do have a dating profile.
But yeah.
But none of the things that I've mentioned that are in my dating profile are actually in my dating profile. Maybe I should update it. Make it podcast accurate.
We're also considering doing our own website, aren't we?
It's something we're looking into. It's one of the ways we're looking at
getting ourselves out there.
Yeah, and making ourselves to the next level.
And in terms of like actually filming us doing the podcast, I don't know if it's actually necessary at this stage.
It's something we're looking into. Part of the thing is we've sort of put a pause on it temporarily in terms of thinking about it, because when we upgrade our tech, that's obviously we're going to have to then be working around the new tech.
Yeah.
So once we've kind of got that, we'll know where we're at, and we can hit play on it again and start thinking about it. But for now, we're not considering it.
Also, from a slightly more selfish point of view, but if it was something you guys wanted, I would absolutely be willing to do it. It's the time aspect. Because obviously we fit this in around our work lives, and there was a couple of months when I was off work, so I had more freedom to do it. But in terms of at the moment, I work a minimum 39-hour week up to 45 hours. I sort of commute between 2 homes at the moment. I'm now going to be commuting for work. So in terms of editing...
So you make it sound like you used to work from home. Like you make it sound like you used to want to...
No, but I used to have a 10-minute walk to work every day, so it wasn't...
Yeah.
I don't consider that a commute.
I know what you mean, mate. You make it sound like you lived in the shop.
Well, I felt like it, mate. But yeah, so I think the video aspect, it's also a time thing.
It's a very self-conscious thing. I don't feel like I look that good, and I don't want to be...
As I said, I've been told my greatest asset is I have a voice for radio, which implies that I shouldn't be seen on the camera.
You have a face for radio.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a slightly selfish angle, but if it was really something the listeners wanted... I'm more than happy
to take board, and it's something like I said, when we get the tech thing, we'll consider it again.
Yeah.
But the other thing also is that, look, we are going on a little hiatus, but we're not stopping working. We're still working away on the pod.
We're still going to meet up every week like we usually would, but it's... and we'll keep you updated while we're on hiatus.
Andrew said, and I've alternated between calling you Andrew and Big through the series. But as Andrew said, you know, we work full time and it's really hard to find. And also we work full time and we've got lives outside of it. It's really hard to find a time where we're both free, and also the shifts that we work. I mean, I work 2 jobs, technically speaking.
Yeah.
You work all manner of hours, all days of the week.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard to find a time to link up and do it. So when we do have link up time to do it, we're having, you know, we've got the time to record an episode of the podcast. We haven't got the time to research ways to improve it. We haven't got the time.
Yeah, we have to squeeze that in here and there.
So for us to dedicate, as he said, we're still going to be meeting up to do as if we were recording, but rather than recording, putting the time into improving the pod.
Yeah.
Because it's not something we can.
So I think that might be one of the things we have to do going forward is maybe doing 20 episodes or 15, something around that mark. Having a break, looking at where we take it going
15 fantastic episodes though. The creme de la creme.
Oh, absolutely. The sound, it will feel like I'm whispering sweet nothings.
You'll go back to the very first episode. What a pile of shit.
I mean, you'll do that with or without the...
Yeah, it weren't great.
The most upsetting thing is that, like, as we were saying before, is that it's our worst episode,
and
but by far has the most listeners to it.
Because people listen to it and they're like, this is shit. And
I think actually at one point, like, we had 200 listens in total, so that was a quarter, like, over a quarter.
It was about a quarter of the listeners were on that first episode. We had about 50, 60 plays on it, and it was like, wow. But then you realise that what's happening is people listen to it being like, there's no structure to this, it's useless, they don't know what they want to be, and they're not coming back. And you're like, no, come back, it gets better, it gets so much better.
Yeah. So yeah.
But we you know, there's many things for us to look at and explore, and the truth is, we're making this up as we go along because we don't know what we're doing. I'm perfectly open about that. You know? And I said that part of the hesitation about making the pod was, I just don't know if I can handle no one listening because I don't know how to get people to listen. Yeah. I think the content will be fine, and I think we've grown into it, and I think, bar a few spots here and there, generally speaking, the content has been okay. I think I'm relatively proud of it.
I think it's been good. I'm happy to say it's been good. I wouldn't say it's been perfect. I wouldn't say it's definitely a lot to be learned.
But I didn't know how to get people to listen. I still don't know how to get people to listen. So if anyone does have any ideas, please do share them. Because we really, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a great sticking point. It's a great not sticking point. It's a great cause for concern for us. It's a great. It probably takes up most of our time when we're not talking about actual content for the pod. We're talking about how to get people to listen.
Yeah, and the thing is, I thought about going back to the first 3 episodes. I was really bombarding people, but at the time I was off work, so I could afford to do it. I can't afford to spend the time doing it now.
No, maybe not.
So it's not really an option. I mean, maybe we get someone on a voluntary basis potentially to really be our social media person, and maybe that's an option. Someone who's going to really push the pod out there, but again, it's something we can.
Also, one more thing that we are going to look for going forward is guests.
Yes.
In the second series, this is a promise now.
There will be.
We will have guests.
Yeah.
And they'll be ranging from people that we think will just be entertaining to listen to, right the way through to experts. We know a number of people in a great number of industries who.
You're really bigging us up there.
Well, but they've worked their way quite. You know, they've got to a decent point in those respective industries.
Yes. We're bottom of the barrel, but we know some good people.
We know some people. I've given hand jobs to the right people.
Oh, absolutely.
By the way, those of you if you want,
I've sucked off my fair share of powerful men.
If you want to get orally pleasured by me, this series is your only chance. Go back and listen to the series, because I'm not offering out any more.
Bumps up our numbers.
So this is it. Go back and listen back, because if you want those fucking hand jobs and blowjobs and cunnilingus,
I want to see us.
This is the chance. This is your only option. Because I'm done after this. I'm retiring my mouth and my hands.
He says until he goes out tonight.
Yeah, but that'll be for personal fun.
Oh, fair.
That won't be for the pod. That won't be for business.
No, it's not.
I
It's
might
just
have
pleasure.
some business cards afterwards.
Maybe that's something we need to have business cards.
You just slip it into people like this and just. Yeah, we don't know.
I mean, maybe even look at advertising in a local paper. I honestly don't know. It's
all new to us,
yeah.
and we're going to share it. But we thought for the series finale, it might be quite interesting just to do a retrospective look back.
And us to sort of ramble about it.
Podcasting itself, you know, the actual essence of what being a podcaster.
Yeah.
I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
There's still a hell of a lot to come.
When we get in this room, you know, we don't really think about there being people listening. We
just the mic is sort of a presence in the room, if that makes sense. But I try to, as much as possible, just look at you, and it's difficult though. He's an ugly bastard, but
wow. Wow, listen,
whereas
insecurities you're coming out with there.
Whereas I'm a specimen.
You're just saying I'm ugly because you don't want to give in to the temptation to sleep with me.
Well, I've done it before, wasn't impressed.
And we're not going down that route though, because that causes a great argument between us.
Yeah, alright, I'll tell you what, actually, it's throw it out there.
No, because this is what happens.
The final question of the season. When we went on our stag do recently, it was resoundingly agreed that if myself and Jake were in a homosexual relationship, that I would be the one giving and he'd be the one receiving.
I would be the one giving. Look, everyone says this just because I'm small, that I'd be overpowered. I'm a jumped up little angry man. We have more power than anyone else. We have more vigour than anyone on the planet. And I will fucking bum you into submission.
So the final question of the series is, out of myself and Jake, who do people believe would be the giver and the receiver in the bedroom?
I'm just going to get ganged up on.
I don't want
much like your sexual fantasies.
No sympathy votes for Jake, please. I want it non-biased.
No sympathy votes, except that I am the fucking dominant one. I'd give. I believe the correct terminology is the top.
No.
I would be the top.
I would 100% pound you to dust.
No, I would be the top. I would absolutely put my penis inside of you.
Right, and on that note is probably the best way to, or the most us way,
and listen,
to end the series.
If we get to 100, if we average 100 plays per episode, we'll turn that fantasy into reality. Whatever you vote for, whatever you vote for,
I'm not letting you bum me. I'm telling you that.
Only if you lose the vote. We'll film it.
I don't want to bum you.
I'll film it. I'm gonna put it out there.
There's nothing wrong with you, but I'm not gay.
What are you trying to say? But I'm not tempting anyway.
No, but I'm just not gay. I don't find you sexually attractive.
Look at this.
I don't find you sexually attractive.
There's no way you don't find me sexually attractive. All the pods I've listened to, there's been a tinge of sexual tension.
Alright guys, well on that note, we're going to end this series, but thank you so much for your support, your listens, your sharing that you have done, but please keep it going for us.
Please come back, because we will come back bigger and better than ever. We really, really will.
And also we'll announce the result of the ultimate.
I'm gonna make it a Twitter poll. Find us on Twitter.
Who out of me and Jake
as soon as this pod goes up, Twitter poll.
Yeah.
At Swords Crossing, you find it, you vote. But for the ones that have listened, thank you very much. We're going to reward you.
Yeah.
We're going to come back better.
Yeah.
And you're going to be so grateful that you got in on the ground floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, for one last time this series.
This was Crossing Swords.
Goodbye, and see you next series.
You will.